sister.
They say the woods in the Appalachian Mountains don't just have ears, they have voices. But the most dangerous thing you can hear out here isn't a screech or a howl. It's the sound of someone you love calling your name when you know, for a fact, they aren't there. I was staying alone at my uncle's cabin, miles from the nearest paved road, total, suffocating silence. My sister, Sarah, was supposed to join me for the weekend, but her car had broken down 3 hours away. She texted me earlier saying she was staying at a motel in the city until morning. By 11 p.m., a dense fog rolled over the ridge, thick as milk, hiding the trees outside my window. Then, the power went out. The cabin plunged into darkness, leaving me with only a flickering flashlight and the heavy sound of wind against the wooden walls. I tried to sleep, but at exactly 2:14 a.m., a sound woke me up. 3 slow, rhythmic thuds on the front door. Knock, knock, knock. I froze in my bed, clutching the flashlight. Then, a voice came from the other side of the heavy oak door. "Hey, open up. I managed to fix the car." "I'm freezing out here. Let me in." It was Sarah. My heart leapt with relief. I swung my legs out of bed, rushed to the living room, and reached for the deadbolt. My hand was inches from the metal latch when I stopped cold. Something felt wrong. Her voice was identical to Sarah's, but the pacing was unnatural. It was flat, slightly delayed, like someone reading words off a page rather than a tired sister standing in the freezing cold. There was no sound of wind or rustling clothes outside, just that perfect, dead voice. Trembling, I pulled my phone out of my pocket. Zero signal, but I opened my photos and messages. A notification from 2 hours ago was still sitting there, a picture Sarah had sent of herself fast asleep in a motel bed, taken by her roommate with the caption, "She's out cold. See you tomorrow." Sarah was 3 hours away. A cold wave of terror washed over me. I slowly stepped back from the door, my flashlight beam shaking violently against the wood. The voice outside stopped talking. A long, agonizing 10 seconds of silence passed. Then, from right outside the thin wooden panel, the voice changed. It dropped an octave, turning thick, guttural, and distorted, using my sister's tone like a broken instrument. "Let me in, sister," I gasped and backed into the center of the room. Before I could make another move, the voice wasn't at the front door anymore. It was at the kitchen window. "Let me in." Then the bedroom window on the east side. I'm freezing. It was circling the cabin at impossible speed, moving through the fog without making a single footstep in the leaves. Panicking, I raised my flashlight and pointed the beam directly at the living room window. Standing right outside the glass, illuminated by the harsh light, was not my sister. It was a creature that looked like a starved, emaciated deer standing upright onto human-like legs. It was nearly 8 feet tall, its chest hollow, its skin pale and stretched tight over visible ribs. Its neck was twisted unnaturally at a 90-degree angle, pressed flat against the glass, and it had no mouth. Where its mouth should have been, there was only a raw, jagged slit across its throat, vibrating violently every time it spoke to me in my sister's voice. "Open the door." I stumbled backward, dropping to the floor in the middle of the room, covering my ears, crying quietly in the dark. I didn't dare move. I didn't dare breathe. For 4 straight hours, the thing circled the cabin. It tapped on the glass. It scratched at the roof. It repeated every text message my sister had ever sent me, echoing her voice into the foggy night until my mind felt like it was going to snap. I stayed curled on the rug until the first gray light of dawn cut through the trees. When the sun finally burned away the fog, the voice stopped. The forest returned to dead silence. I waited another hour before I finally forced myself to stand up and look outside. The creature was gone. But carved deep into the heavy oak of the front door were 4 jagged claw marks, an inch deep into the wood. I packed my bag in 5 minutes and left the cabin behind. And if you ever find yourself spending a night in the Appalachian woods, remember one thing: if you hear a loved one calling your name from the dark, check your phone first, because out here, the fog doesn't just hide things. It learns how to lure you out.
Sister.